So right now you can see here, this is system status.
Yes.
Yeah, this is S4 HANA server. This is
Okay.
S4 HANA S4 HANA server 2020 version, and S4 HANA server already runs only on the HANA database.
HANA database. Okay.
Yeah, so it is HANA database. HANA version is HANA 2.0. Now I want to monitor the HANA database. I can use the T code DBA Cockpit. Okay, so in the DBA Cockpit, I want to see the uh, space. So for,
System information.
yeah,
Yeah.
so system information, we can see the uh, database size history, like largest table size. So here we can see the size on different dates. It is going to show us the disk used,
Mm-hmm.
memory used, all the, here you can have the aggregation period also. We can aggregate by the year also, in
Okay.
which year, and largest tables. If we want to see the data volume, log volume, we can also see. So from here, this transaction code, we can check all the database. Even we can run the SQL statements also. If we want to run the SQL statement, so you got the SQL editor also. So like you can make a query, select star from, all users are stored into USR02 table. So we can execute and we can check. So means any SQL statement can also be run from the data from this SAP side, and you can see the complete information from this table.
Okay.
Then operating system related information, because SUSE Linux and Red Hat Linux, this HANA server run on the SUSE Linux and Red Hat Linux. So right now you can see I'm logging into the Windows server and I'm connected to SAP GUI, but my server is Windows server. But our SAP system is running on uh, SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux. How to verify? Again, we have system status. So here we can see the operating system next data. So here it is going to show us, but it is saying that Windows operating system, not uh, but
Not
HANA,
Linux, right?
not Linux, but HANA runs on Linux.
Yeah,
So
yeah, correct. HANA is Linux, Linux, yeah, Susia.
Linux, SUSE Linux. So let's see
Yeah.
ST06. Okay, so here it is showing. So S4 HANA is running on Windows. S4 HANA is running on Windows, but the database is running on SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux. So, and it is, I think it's a virtualized solution. So it is saying that VMware and so in ST06, you can see the complete operating system related information. What is the CPU, swap space, and other things.
Okay.
Okay, so here we can see, then ST02, we can see the buffers. Uh, so buffers are like to speed up the things. The HANA SAP system is going to use frequently used data into the buffer. So we have to check the buffer also. SM04, AL08, we can see the how many users are login. Users, how many users are login into the system. SM04 and AL08. Yeah, so now we have only two users are login. User ID this one and user ID this one. AL08 is also same thing, and uh, we can change the parameter using we can see the complete system from RZ20. RZ20 is a CCMS monitor templates. With that, we can monitor the complete system health check by seeing the color. I can go to RZ20 T code, and we have to go to the CCMS monitor templates, and here we can see the entire system. So this is my system S4H suite for HANA. Now with the color, I can understand where is the problem. We can just drill down database client R3 services, security related problem. Then I can select the open alerts. We can select what operating system related display alerts. It is going to display all the alerts. So here, so we have to just proactively monitor the things if anything is missing or not configured properly or showing problems, so we can see it from here. So that is known as CCMS monitors. And then AL11, you can see the directory structure from SAP application. I want to see the directory structure, I can use the transaction code AL11. So I can see the directory structure of uh, data file. I can see the trans file, profile file. If I want to see the profile file, I can see we have different types of profile: default, ASCS instance, uh, dialog instance. So we can see it from here. So first thing in basis consultant have to do proactive monitoring. So these transaction codes, they are going to run uh, uh, regularly. In case of problem is coming, then they can activate the trace. Activate trace. So for activating trace, they can use the transaction code ST01, ST05. So in normal scenario, you are proactive monitoring, and if in case of a problem is coming for a specific user, you can activate the trace. After activating the trace, user is going to perform the task, and we can see the trace file and try to solve the problem. So how to activate the trace, I am going to show you. Okay. So I just log in with ST01. ST01 is performance trace. Like here, it is going to check the authorization, everything. Uh, and then we got system trace ST01, and ST05 is performance trace. Now, suppose I am running a SQL statement. So I want to trace the SQL statement. So I am activating the trace. Activate trace. Okay. Trace is activated for user S20 user 90. Now open a new session. I will run a report SA38 to run a report. I'm running a program RSPFPAR. I'm running just any random program. So any program is like going to query to database using SQL statement. This program has run and it was very fast. Quickly it has shown the result. Now I want to deactivate the trace. Then I can display the trace. If the problem in the program output is not good, not like responding in the proper time, we can see it from here. So now we have run a SQL statement, we have run a report, so you can see all the complete uh, options here, like what table it has selected, what are the operators it is, how much time it has taken. So this is, it has taken uh, 5 second, not 5 second, it's a 5 millisecond. It has a microsecond, then it's a millisecond. So if any report is taking very long time, you can short it by the time, what operator it is going to use, and then we can further fine tune.
Sanjay,
Yes.
is it possible to trace for particular user?
Yes, trace the particular user, so we can just.
Because if there are a lot of users
Mhm,
trying to view the report or any modules,
mhm.
the trace will have a lot of records.
Yes, yes. So trace will be activated for individual users. So when we are just like we can go to ST01 system trace. Now I want to trace a particular uh, database SQL trace. I want to then trace on. When I click on the trace on, then it is like settings. You have the settings also. So here you can specify for which user. User you
Okay.
can also specify. So you can specify the user. Like suppose I want to activate the authorization check. Send trace of authorization check. So by default, it is going to use for the user which is login. And but if you want to change the setting, you can change the settings also. If you want to use for other user.
How to change the user, Sanjay?
So user is like whenever the user is going to log in, he can just switch on the trace. A particular user is going to. So here we can specify also like how much is the file, like maximum file size would be 20 MB, 10 MB. Uh, all the information can be configured, like how much would be the trace file size you want to keep, the biggest file you can mention also. But
Okay.
yeah, then you can analyze. Okay, so like here, suppose you want to generate a trace for a user only. So suppose your user ID is SAP star. So you can just mention it is going to use for a particular SAP star only. So further you can filter. By default, it is going to take for the user which is going to log in. But the person who is going to, like suppose you are login with the uh, Nabil user ID, then it is going to trace your ID. But suppose you want to trace for Hassan, so you can just go to filter and you can change it for Hassan.
Okay, okay.
Then activate the trace, then user is going to perform the task, and again he is going to uh, log in, and he can see the complete trace information. Okay, so this is a troubleshooting step. This is very important. You can take the screenshot or so. So first we have to isolate the problem. Suppose sometime the users are complaining they are not able to log in. So first you have to specify or isolate the problem area, whether the problem is related to a individual user, or it's a problem with a individual application, or it's a problem with SAP GUI, or it's a particular problem with a particular application server. So if for an individual user, maybe the user is not uh, able to understand the complete login details, he must not be having the correct suppose a user is going to log into the server but he's not having the right information. Okay, so now user is all users are able to log in, but some users are not able to log in because in the SAP GUI setting they are not mentioning to instance number 34. They are trying to connect with 36. Mistyped. Somebody have mistyped or some. So now I have changed to 36. Now when I will try to connect with the server, I will not be able to connect because I have not have the correct entries. So if a user is complaining that the server is not reachable, he is not able to connect. So first we have to isolate whether all users are not able to connect or some users are not able to connect. If some users are not able to connect, what is the problem? Whether they have the correct details, they are trying to log in, and the server is available, but they, due to network, there could be some network problem also, or one application server is down. Suppose I am having 34, 36, 37, maybe 36 is down, but 34 and other servers are available. So we can just change it. We can able to log in. So first we have to uh, isolate the problem. Then we have to analyze the problem. For analysis of the problem, we can have the scenario. We can see the SM21, ST22. We can activate the trace also because we want to see the complete information. So for complete information, we can like do the traces also. After that you can gain additional knowledge by like you have the course material or online documentation. You can, yesterday we discussed about SAP notes, so you can for the SAP notes also, and you can do the comparison. You can correct the problem, and even if you are not able to correct the problem, you can compare with the other systems, like you are having development, quality and production system. There is a problem in quality system, so you can compare the same uh, information with the development and production system. You can do the comparison, you can check the log, you can see the process. If you are able to solve the problem, it's okay. If you are not able to solve the problem, you can raise a message to SAP. It's 100% sure that you will not be able to correct all the problems. So if some problems you are not able to correct, you can create a message to SAP, create a case, or you can chat, or but to create a message you require the S user ID. S user ID. uh, so you can see the S user ID will be created. S user ID you will be getting when you are working in a project. So anyone is having S user ID? You are having S user ID or not?
I don't have, maybe an LB
In
might
LB
have
maybe.
it.
Yes, yes.
I have S user ID, Sanjay.
Yes. So your ID you can see when it will like active or deactivate. So this is not the phases. Active for S user ID lifetime is expiry date is 2 years. For this is the S user. So with S user ID you can raise a message because S user ID is connected to a particular project and all the systems are mentioned here. So in case of problem you can raise a message to SAP.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so this was just general discussion about the troubleshooting. So we have completed the topics